Lawrence Sutton, Chris Morris, and we're here with the Tennessee Legislation Report. How you doing, Chris?
Doing great, Lawrence. Doing great this afternoon. Good, warm day.
Yes, it is. Spring's in the air, is it not?
It is. I noticed Bradford pears are blooming. Buttercups are up.
Yeah, I'm going to be honest with you. I started feeling it come Saturday.
You got a little sinus?
Little sinus drain, little
allergies.
Allergies, yeah. I was like, man, I'm not getting sick, am I?
Get you some local honey
I
from
do.
your area.
We got honey. I mean,
well, great.
So
I'm not talking about your wife either, okay?
But no, I mean, I started feeling it Saturday. I was passing by and I was looking at my pear trees, and I started seeing them starting to bud, and I'm like, oh, this is what it is. So
I'm seeing them in full blooming out the white flowers right now.
Yeah, so if my voice sounds different, that's why I've been getting a little drainage going on.
Let's jump into something real quick. I talked about some House bills, and this is one, House Bill 2190. Got a great sponsor on this is Monty Fritz is in the House and Frank Nicely in the Senate. But listen, we've had Chris Todd to sign on to this bill, Mark White, he's over in the Memphis area, Chris Todd's in Jackson. We even got Pat Marsh from over in the Shelbyville area. I'm shocked. Kip Capley is on it. Jody Barrett's on it. Todd Warner's on it. Where's Clay Doggett on this bill?
They probably ran out. They probably ran out of people to put on there.
You can keep putting people on there.
Oh, can you?
Oh, yeah.
Well,
yeah.
they might have said, nah, we got enough already, and since you like Alabama football, we're not going to let you co-sign on this.
They're going to punish them a little bit. Hey, while we're talking about it, shout out Tennessee men's basketball. They spanked Alabama Saturday. Alabama Crimson Tide in basketball. So
that's probably why he didn't sign up. Clay didn't sign up because he was pouting getting his butt whooped.
Yeah, I don't know if Clay gets into the basketball or not, but anyway, great job. The men and the women are not too shabby either, but the men are now ranked number 3 in the nation. So that's a great place for them to be.
That is.
But anyway, this bill, House Bill 2190, Senate Bill 2538, it's introduced changes for 3 to 4. Everything gets to going when you get on the radio.
Yep.
Changes from 3 to 4 the number of members the governor is authorized to appoint to an enrolling board in each county to act in lieu of the county assessor for the purpose of enrolling county residents into the state militia.
Okay, so is this the same state militia? Because I know that we have a state militia that cannot carry arms. Is this the same state militia, or is this something that's going to be different, Chris?
This is the militia, and I wish we had a little bit more. The summary of this increases from 3 to 4 the number of enrolling board members the governor may appoint in lieu of a county assessor to make enrollments of persons subject to military duty or to draft into the military service.
Okay.
There's no fiscal impact, and it authorizes the governor to call the militia into active service at any time that public safety requires. And what this is all about is just like, our National Guard, several troops left Saturday for Texas for the border to help secure the border at Texas. So this gives the governor the right to do this, and he is responsible for the state militia.
Okay.
The federal government, in other words, it's kind of telling them, hey, go pound sand.
Well, I'm going to tell you something. That's exactly what needs to happen, because, we have right now, and I've been dealing with this today with our 10th Amendment nullification. And if anything tells the federal government to pound sand, that is that bill that is being worked through right now.
That's true.
Janice Bowling on the Senate side and Bud Halsey on the House side has been doing that. And I tell you, I want to go down a little bit in a rabbit hole here.
Oh, look out, folks.
So I want to talk about why is this important? Why do me and you keep talking about this nullification? And I want people to understand the nullification is not about we're trying to succeed from the Union. We're trying to do all these things that are not America first. But people have got to understand the states created the federal government. The federal government did not create the states. And right now, I'm just going to tell you something. We have an administration right now that has been depleting our military supply. They have made it a lot harder for companies here in America to make ammunition and arms. And you know what I just read today? They are in the process right now to help fund Ukraine. I want you to hear this. Selling off our Northeast oil reserves, and they're even leading it on where it can even be shut down. Yeah, you heard me. You're looking at me like, what? Yes, they have done that. It's a Newsweek, Chris. I'm not going to the Zero Hedge or some other Alex Jones or something. This is coming out of Newsweek, where they are in the process in order to help fund the Ukraine bill. And as part of this Ukraine funding bill, Chris, they are selling off our oil reserves. Have you heard of anything like this?
Nothing with this administration ceases to shock me. They have done everything they possibly can to destroy America.
So,
and Joe Biden is just a stooge. And he's not running the show. Let's get past that. But they're doing everything. And call me a conspiracy theorist, I am. Because I think all this illegal immigration is trying to reapportion the United States to where they're trying to screw up the Electoral College. They're trying to screw up everything they possibly can with these illegals.
Well, you know what? Here's what they're doing, too. They're moving the illegals into the places that the people are fleeing.
Right.
You know, they really are. So, it's kind of funny that you say that because they're actually also right now, if you look at what the Biden administration is doing with the illegals, they're bankrupting cities with the flood of illegals.
That's right.
I mean, they're bankrupting these cities. These cities like New York City, Eric Adams is crying, no mas, no more. We can't take it anymore. But you know what?
Well, he's the same guy that wanted Sanctuary City in New York.
Oh, not anymore.
It's funny how the tide turns, right?
Well, DeSantis and Abbott started sending them that way because it would destroy the economies of Texas and Florida. I mean, and they're the ones that are, and along with California, they're the ones that are having the brunt of this illegal immigration crisis that is happening right now. And I'm going to tell you, let's give a shout out to Governor Lee. Governor Lee last week sent more troops to the border.
They left Saturday.
Yeah.
Right.
And Governor Lee has said that we are standing with Texas. We are totally against what the federal government is doing, and we're going to do our part to help.
Last night, 60 Minutes had Governor Abbott. It was either and it might have been a CBS morning show yesterday morning, and along with 60 Minutes, they were doing everything they could to destroy Greg Abbott.
Right.
Everything. They were trying to twist. I know last night was Moms for Liberty was what was on 60 Minutes. But if I was Moms for Liberty, I would have been a little bit more polished than what they were last night. They needed not to try to go around the answer. They needed to try to hit the answer head on and just tell these Democrats and these bleeding heart liberals just like it is. It's over these books in the schools, but where they were trying to embarrass Governor Abbott was on CBS Sunday morning. And I sat there and I watched that mess. And, you know, it's Governor Abbott is standing his ground. And guess what he's standing on? His right of the 10th Amendment to push back. He is in charge of the state of Texas. Pure and simple.
Well, I'm going to tell you, and this is, I'm going to tell you, in my opinion, why the 10th Amendment is so important.
And for everybody out there, it's House Bill 2795.
Mm-hmm.
And all of our good conservative legislators we brag on all the time are on this bill. Okay? And it's Senate Bill 2775. And yes, Senator Janice Bolin is the primary sponsor, but guess what? Joy Hensley has signed on as a co-sponsor.
You have any other co-sponsors so far?
No.
Okay.
No, I just looked at the update. So y'all need, people out there listening to us, you need to be blowing up legislators' phones to support House Bill 2795. Pure and simple. It needs to pass. It needs to go through. And we need to be able to put more teeth into nullification than we ever have before. Look at everything. I listen to people talking about, we've talked about the price of gas. Y'all are like a yo-yo over here.
Mm-hmm.
You know, last Monday, it had been jacked up to 309 when everybody was lower. And I notice it's mainly shale that jacks up. And then everybody starts following. And then they've dropped it back to 299. And
Right.
it spikes. Everything starts spiking. And I didn't realize this. A darn dozen of eggs is $4.
What?
Yeah, $4. Ludicrous. I know you told me your butt down at Pickwick.
Yeah.
He was buying 30 dozen for $30.
Right.
And he told you a couple of weeks ago that same 30 dozen, he was paying $1 a dozen, had jacked up to about $145.
I don't remember the exact numbers. I do remember it was a lot. But again, you know, this kind of makes sense.
And then we got the idiot wanting to sell off our northeastern reserves.
And that's what I was about to go with it. I mean, now you know why our gas is like a roller coaster on our gas, because we're doing things that doesn't make sense. I'm going to tell you the other thing that it really doesn't make sense is it's like they're doing it on purpose. And I've said this numerous times. I really don't think that these people are idiots. I think these people know exactly what they're doing. My question is why do you hate America so much that you're doing everything you can to destroy who she is?
That's true. You listen to these people like nut job Oprah Winfrey, okay, and different ones that said, hey, we're leaving the United States if Donald Trump gets elected in 2016.
Bye.
But they never did.
I know.
They talk out of both sides of their mouth. They're freaking that's to me that's the same as being insane.
Yeah.
That's why I call them idiots. But you know, we have the problems with a lot of the Hollywood elitists. They want to put in their 2 cents worth when they're totally just 98% of them are totally woke.
Well,
And you know, it's sad. But this is what causes problems to start escalating. You know, you're going to sell off your Northeast reserves. How much of the strategic oil reserves did he sell off before?
well, and that's the thing. But what got my attention on this is that they did it in order to keep from a shutdown happening. And what really has me thinking.
Oh, you're talking about this continuing resolution?
No. I'm talking about the reserves, selling off our oil reserves. Is that they have put in here that they can close it off forever, meaning not put the oil reserves back. And that's what has got me really concerned about this, Chris, is because they're actually putting this in. And people, again, I'm telling you, this is mainstream Newsweek that is putting this out there and what they're trying to do. And I just look at what is happening to our country, and I just can't believe it. I mean, I cannot believe the things that I'm seeing right now. Why are we more worried about Ukraine's border than our own border? I'll even take it a step further. I hear all these people on the left, or maybe not even on the left. I mean, we got a lot of people that I call these neocons, these people that all they want is war, feed the war machine. People, I will tell you this, if you can't even find Ukraine on the map where it's at, don't go around holding up signs and saying that we're for Ukraine and we need to fund this war. Yeah, you need to fund the war of genocide and killing. Ukraine is killing their own people. I mean, and they're doing what America's telling them to. They're doing what the UN is telling them to do. And at the end of the day, okay, I'm not saying that Putin's right, wrong, indifferent, but Putin is defending his border, flat out defending his border. And here's the other thing, and people need to understand this. When Russia, the USSR, when they agreed back in 1988 to start dismantling
the Cold War, they were told that the UN would never increase more eastward towards them. And they have not kept their promise. They have added these countries that have gotten closer and closer to Russia.
And the bad thing is, you want to know how when Donald Trump says that he'll stop the war in one day, you know how Donald Trump's going to stop the war in one day?
Stop funding the UN.
Not only stop funding the UN, but tell the UN that Ukraine will not join NATO. Period. End of story. 90% of that battle has nothing to do with Putin wanting to take over Ukraine. A lot of people don't understand this. See, if you sit here and say, well, we got to fund the Ukraine war, educate yourself. Most people don't understand. But do you know that
most people don't educate themselves?
But do you know Putin is half Ukrainian? His mother's from Ukraine.
Ukraine, yeah. She is a full-blooded Ukrainian.
Yes, he's half Ukrainian. Putin loves Ukraine. Okay? Ukraine is about like us wanting to go and fight Canada.
Or go fight Wayne County.
Or, yeah.
Bring it on a local level.
I mean, these are people that are ethnically Russian.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's an ethnic connection there. They're Russian.
Yeah.
They've been part of Russia for 1,000 years or longer. Okay? So I know we kind of got off on a tangent here, but it just pisses me off to watch our country being destroyed. Within,
yeah.
By people that don't even understand the history of what's going on here.
Yeah.
I mean, don't make comments about things that you have not educated yourself on. So let's get back.
I'm going to jump back to House Bill 0694. House Bill 0694. Now, this bill is from last year in the 112th, and just got a text, and the House sponsor was Monty Fritz.
Okay.
Talk about a great man there. Here's another genuine Christian conservative. Great individual. And the Senate sponsor is Senate Bill 0574, Senator Mark Pody. And what this bill was about last year, and it got taken off notice, and and that's when a bill gets taken off notice. It just virtually is DOA.
Right.
And folks, that's dead on arrival. But just got a text from Monty Fritz, and he says this bill should be back in committee next week in a public service subcommittee. And great, because here's what everybody's going to love about this bill. Everybody remember the COVID lockdowns?
Right.
Does everybody remember Governor Lee declaring businesses essential and non-essential?
Absolutely, we do.
One of the things he shut down was gyms. He shut down both barber shops and beauty shops. And some folks did keep them open, and that was the right thing to do, because your governor does not, and hear me loud, he does not have that type of authority, but he exercised his authority.
He actually took away our constitutional rights.
Took away your state of Tennessee constitutional rights, and by what he did, his rear end could have been sued as an individual for people who followed that and shut down and lost money.
Well, I'm going to tell you something, and I'm not defending Bill Lee by any means, but I am pointing something out. There was only one state that did not shut down.
Great state of South Dakota.
Kristi Noem, the governor of South Dakota, said,
led by Constitution.
She says, I do not have the ability in the Constitution to shut down my state, whether it's my state constitution or the federal constitution. The only state in America that did not shut down, and she's one of the people that are on the short list for her as Trump's VP. I think she needs to be seriously looked at. I'm just going to tell you.
I agree with you. But, folks need to watch this. Like I said, Monty has he's one of the texts that's coming in. And looks like House Bill 0694. It's a very constitutional bill. It is so asinine that our legislators have to spend time to legislate what's in our Constitution. Right. And to make sure our governor or state government or your local governments, getting down into your counties like Lawrence County, your cities like the city of Lawrenceburg, that you don't have some rogue mayor to try to say, well, you got to close your business. I'm issuing an executive order. Well, these executive orders, and there we go, back to nullification.
Yeah, didn't Chaz Mulder, the mayor of Columbia, try to do that?
Oh, yeah.
And didn't Andy Ogles just put a stop to it?
Well, he put a stop to it in the county.
That's right.
Right, he did put a stop to it in the county, but that shows you when you got somebody who will step on your constitutional, God-given rights, okay, and people just bow down to them. I don't think we're under the rule of the king.
No, we're not.
Is that not why we left England?
Well, I want to point out a couple of things with this, with Senate Bill 2775 and House Bill 2795 on the 10th Amendment. I tell you why that particular bill is important. Is because when lawmakers are hesitant, that bill actually gives counties and citizens the ability to step in and defend the Constitution from tyrannical government. To me, the 10th Amendment is an important stopgap measure to ensure that our Second Amendment is not the last resort. And that's what I want people to understand. That's why the 10th Amendment to me is so important, because I don't want to have to use the Second Amendment if we do not have to. I would rather use it politically than to have any bloodshed happen. And I'm going to tell you something. Lawmakers, hear me. It really does not make sense, if you believe in the Second Amendment, not to believe in the 10th Amendment. And if we have that right recognized by the Second Amendment, then why can't we have the 10th Amendment recognized? This gives us the ability to raise issues, and it actually gives the 10th Amendment some teeth to it.
Some teeth. That's the main thing. It gives it a backbone.
I mean, and I will tell people, again, this is not about succeeding. This is not about civil war. This is about handling things politically that our federal government was only given 18 enumerated powers. And the reason Texas is having such a hard time right now with our federal government is because one of those enumerated powers they're supposed to have, they're not doing it. They're not doing it.
That's right.
So I want to ask somebody this question. If you're out there and you're thinking, oh, well, are you being I'm trying to think of the word here,
fascist.
Whatever word you want to come up with.
Whatever adjective they want to call you today.
Correct. Don't care. Okay? But I'm going to ask you this question. How do you think we're going to put a federal government under check and control if not by the states? I mean, the 9th and 10th Amendments, we don't talk about them a lot, but they're extremely important to keep what I would call the Federalists out of our business.
Another good amendment we don't talk about a lot is the 14th as well.
Yeah.
Think about it.
I know.
So, there's a lot of things we need to be thinking about. But hey, while we're talking about this, did you see the Supreme Court ruling this morning?
I didn't. I'm going to tell you something.
Have you heard about it?
I saw a little bit that Trump won something, but I did not. I have not had time, Chris. I mean, me and you both.
Yeah, we've been covered up.
Yeah.
But thanks to my dad, as soon as it broke loose this morning, somewhere going on 9 o'clock, I get a phone call.
Yeah.
And he was excited that all 9 Supreme Court justices ruled in Trump's favor. He cannot be taken off the ballot constitutionally.
Okay, so
so all 9 of them were on the same sheet of music.
So I'm going to tell you
first.
That's the first. So I'm going to tell you something. Yeah, I actually went into Clark's there in Henryville, and they had something.
Where's that again?
In Henryville.
You mean Henryville?
No, if you say Henryville, you are not from this area.
I know it's Henryville.
It's Henryville. Okay, if you say Henryville to people there, they'll get pissed. They'll be like, "You're not from around here, are you,
that's
boy?"
Sort of like going to Wayne County. They got a little community called spelt Lutts, and under normal circumstances, that's Lutz.
Yeah.
They call it Lutz.
Lutz.
So they know you're not from there.
So I'm just going to tell you something. I mean, I love going to Clark's. I mean, they got, if Clark's doesn't have it, it's like a combination of Walmart and Lowe's. So, and it's 5 minutes from my house. So
sort of kind of like Lawson's is on the south end down at Loretta.
Well, no, see, Lawson's is more like Bass Pro.
And sporting goods.
Yeah,
yes.
Sporting goods. I mean, they're more like Lowe's and Walmart. So, but anyway, Clark's is great business. Love going there, and I love supporting local businesses. But they had it on TV. I just seen it, but I was running in and out.
You don't?
No. But, I'm sorry. I kind of got off on it. But let's talk about Trump. I mean, I want you to repeat again what you just said, that we had all 9. See, typically it's a 5-4 or 6-3 when we hear rulings.
Usually when it's 5-4, we got John Roberts that's crossed over with the Democrats.
Right.
But all 9, and a shout out to all 9 of them.
Yes, absolutely.
For upholding our Constitution.
Yeah.
Because I was kind of wondering where this was going to go. And at least that gives us a little ray of hope that even the 4, for the most part, who vote against everything that's constitutionally, they may be beginning to have a change of heart with all this mess that's going on.
Well, it is a mess. And every day, and and I've said it 100 times on the radio, but I'm not a Trumper. But every day I look at what Trump said. He says that the only thing standing between you and a tyrannical federal government is me, because they're going after me first. Mm-hmm. And I see it, and I think the American people see it. And good, bad, or indifferent, because I'm going to disagree with a lot of Trump's stance. Trump has gotten soft on homosexual marriage. Trump is getting soft on abortion. Okay, Trump is soft on guns. I mean, he
is for some type of red flag laws.
Well, and he was the first one that the Obama administration gave us bump stocks, and he did an executive order to get rid of the bump stocks, which the Supreme Court came back and said, no, you can't do that. So, I want people to understand this about Trump. Has Trump done a lot of good things?
Yes.
Absolutely. But you need to understand that other than his personality, I'm going to tell you something, Chris, his personality does not turn me off at all. I mean, matter of fact, Trump says and has the platform to say what me and you've said on this radio program, or if we had a national audience, we would say. So, I mean, he doesn't say anything for the most part that gets him in trouble that I disagree with. But he has done some things that I do not agree with. His handling of COVID. I think his handling of COVID was atrocious. I'm just going to tell you. He had some bad advice, or he made some bad decisions. But either way, it was not good. But you know what? Again, this program, people are going to get sick of hearing about the 10th Amendment and nullification. But we had the Biden administration in 2021 said, you must, if you have a business in the state of Tennessee with more than 50 employees, you must get them vaccinated. And the state of Tennessee, this is the thing, I don't understand why our legislators are not all on board on this, because almost to a man, the state of Tennessee, at least the Republican Party, got on board and put out a resolution that was basically a 10th Amendment nullification, where they said, we will not make the people of Tennessee get vaccinated. And I had a guy that I know that has a pretty large business here in Tennessee, a lot more than 50 employees. And he was actually thinking, was he going to have to move his business or even shut down his business, because he was totally against making people do anything with their body.
It's totally unconstitutional.
Totally unconstitutional. And before you people get up and get in arms and go, well, what about abortion? My body, my choice. All right, let me tell you something. The baby in the woman's belly is its own person. You are killing a person in your body. Do you know that a baby even has different blood type than the mother? Do you know that the baby has different heart, different eyes, different nose, different fingers, different organs than the mother? So how can you sit there and say, it's my body, my choice? What about that baby's choice of being born? Thank God my mother was for life. Thank God your mother was for life, Chris, or you wouldn't be here.
I'm here.
That's right.
You know, these people are so much against abortion. They stand up, this Planned Parenthood, all that crap. And yes, it's crap.
It's evil. It's evil.
It's evil. Thank God their mother wasn't for abortion.
Yeah.
They're here.
If you're for abortion so much, then go abort yourself then.
Well, you know, the way I look at it, if you're so much against having children,
don't have them.
Go get yourself spayed or neutered.
Yeah.
That's a simple solution.
It is, absolutely.
And quit thinking the taxpayers ought to pay every freaking thing for you. Now, this is something, you know, people keep calling, and your great county executive over here just got a text from him.
Oh, David Morgan. David Morgan's a great one.
He's a good one. Something we need to talk about. We talked about the beer ordinance or the county beer ordinance in Giles County. Our distance from a place of public gathering has been lowered down to, it's been neutered, down to 600 feet. Lawrence County, Giles is 1,000 feet. This came from your county executive. He did some checking on it. He said, look, I can't answer right off the top of my head. Let me get the answer and I'll text it to you. Very honest. I'll appreciate that. But he said you mentioned a kicker the other day. You thought, we didn't really know what the footage was, but you thought if it was 500 feet or 1,000, which we now know it's 1,000, if people within that 1,000 foot objected, they couldn't get a beer permit. Well, here's what it is. If they're within 300 feet of the residence, the owner of the resident has to publicly object to the license application at the beer board meeting. So Lawrence County citizens, y'all got something we don't have in Giles County. If you're within 300 foot, your residence of the place that is applying for the beer permit, you have to go to the beer board meeting and publicly object to the license application. And if they do so, guess what? It's automatically denied. Y'all got a little diamond in the rough right there.
Oh yeah, I know.
So
I know. And I will tell you this: I'm neutral when it comes to alcohol. I don't drink. Okay,
I understand,
but
and I want to go a step further with this because I brought it up, and I'm gonna hone in it a little bit harder. I told everybody, Giles County, the county itself is now wet. In November 22, 5,036 people turned out to vote in the November 2022 election. That was when you were electing Clay Doggett and Bill Lee in November of 22.
I didn't vote for Bill Lee.
And but I want to stick on this liquor referendum for Giles. 25.22% of registered voters turned out to vote. That's piss poor, in my opinion.
Yeah, 25%. Yeah.
Now we keep. And Janice Boland just texting. She wants to talk about nullification.
Good.
But we won't talk to her on the air live. I would love to have her here in person. But anyway, 25.22% turned out to vote out of 19,971 registered voters. 5,036. Do the math. Correct me if I'm wrong.
No, I think you're right.
But I'm seeing some of our county commissioners become Facebook warriors. And yes, I'm going to call a spade a spade. Sometimes it's better to keep your mouth shut or your finger off the keyboard than to open it up and remove all doubt. It did not pass unanimous. Everybody keeps saying an overwhelming majority of Giles Countyans wanted this. Well, 25% of the registered voters that voted is not an overwhelming majority.
No.
And what they're trying to say is 3,484 people voted yes. That was 17.45% of registered voters in Giles County.
So elections have consequences.
Elections have consequences. Now, 1552 voted no, and that was 7.77% that voted no. You do the math, add them together, you come to 25.22.
Right.
So I double-checked. I checked the checker.
Right.
But to me, and I want people to shut it down, that's not an overwhelming majority. It is of the ones that voted that exercised their right.
Yep.
But it's not like people are out here taunting, well, 67% of Giles Countyans wanted it. That's BS.
Right.
They didn't.
Right.
And now the Christians have said, whoops, why didn't we know about this?
Because you don't pay attention.
People are going to have to educate themselves on elections before they go to the polls.
Which, by the way, is tomorrow.
Tomorrow. That's why I'm honing in on this.
Yeah.
And you know, we had just a fraction over 800 people who took advantage to vote early in this election. And folks, if you want to be counted as a bona fide Republican, this election tomorrow is one of your stripes.
Yeah.
And if you sit on you do nothing, then holler, oh, I'm a conservative or I'm a Republican, and you don't have the numbers, I'm tired of people crying over spilt milk. But I just wanted to point that out. Now, another thing that's very important that's coming up, and there is actually a Zoom call at 7 o'clock, and let me find it, and it's a town hall meeting this evening dealing with school choice. What a hot topic right now.
Oh, yeah, it absolutely is.
And I've heard people, I've even heard Michael Patrick Leahy out of Nashville, and I've been on the radio. He's had me on his show. He is really going after our friend Todd Warner. Mm-hmm. Michael Patrick Leahy, back off. Because I'll come on your show if you want me to come on there, and we'll talk about this.
Or better yet, why don't you get Todd Warner on there?
Why don't you get Todd on there? But you crucified him on the Tennessee Star, and I'm not appreciative of that.
Yeah.
And Todd is a great conservative. He's not a damn Democrat.
Right.
Quit calling him that.
Yeah, that's the furthest thing from the truth with Todd.
Right. These kind of things fire me up because a lot of times we put that, like Bill O'Reilly says, we opine. We put that spin on it. Well, we're putting that spin on. So Michael Patrick Leahy, why don't you come out and tell everybody we got to give the illegals the same $7,000 of our tax money for school choice that we're giving our children?
Well, I'm going to tell you what my dad always told me.
And I don't know really enough about it to talk about it, but
yeah.
I do know that part about giving these darned illegals. The hell with these illegals.
So I got two opinions on this. So I guess that would make me a trans on this one.
Trans Republican?
No, not trans Republican. I just have two opinions of this.
You'll get a call from Richard if you are.
Well, that's okay. Me and Richard can debate. I'm a big boy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Go ahead. We're having fun.
Yes, we are. So I will tell you this. My dad always told me that there is no such thing as a free lunch.
That's
okay.
Right.
And anytime the government will bring you money, that carrot, there's a stick behind the back.
That's exactly right. When they're dangling that carrot,
there is a stick involved.
Look out.
There's always a stick involved. I'm sorry, it's how it is. I don't want to get hit with that stick.
That's an ugly stick.
But here's the other thing. Is it the taxpayers' money, though? Yes. So that's the reason I'm saying I'm kind of ambiguous about this. My thought process, just let the government keep doing what they're doing. But parents, I want you to understand, it's not the school's responsibility to educate your children. It's your responsibility. And if you do not get involved in your children's education, whether you send them to public school, whether you homeschool, whether you send them to private school, if you are not involved with your children's education in one form or another, you're responsible. Period. End of story. I don't care if you like it or not. You're responsible, good, bad, or indifferent.
Hey, Lawrence, I don't think you could have laid that roadmap out any better. You are 100% spot on.
Yeah.
No matter what anybody thinks, that is your opinion, but that is a very accurate opinion.
Yeah, you know, it was kind of funny because we had a couple of weeks ago, we had people running for school board on our Wednesday show, you know, the Republican Party show. And, my girls, they're 13 years old.
Right.
And they're in here, and they both work at a little different levels on math. One's working on geometry, the other one's working in algebra. 13-year-olds supposed to be in 7th grade, and they were amazed. Matter of fact, Mrs. Alexander, who's run for school board, was a teacher for 39 years. She was like, they're already in algebra and geometry.
What?
Yeah.
Do what?
In 7th grade. And I'm like, yes. And don't think it's me. It's their mama. Okay? I mean, I'm just going to tell you.
Man that will admit it.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
But,
my wife is brilliant. Me, I'm a dumb redneck.
Your young ladies impressed me already because of how structured they are, and it goes with their raising. You and Victoria have done an excellent job, but how intelligent at 13, even at 12 when I got to know them.
Yeah.
How they could produce this show.
Yes.
They got this show set up on different formats, from Twitter or X or to iHeart to Rumble. They're doing things that normal, average children their age are not doing, or not even capable of doing. But they're also licensed ham radio operators, right?
They are. They absolutely
So
are.
there's
I don't even
all-
have my ham radio license. I can't even pass the test.
Oh, Lord.
I haven't took the test yet. I will pass it if I take it, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, but
they took the initiative.
Let's flip back to the homeschooling, because y'all have done an excellent, a tremendous job. But this seminar to educate us on school choice is being done by the Homeschool Association and Private School Association. There is a grave concern if they start taking state handout.
Money. Yep.
You start becoming a recipient
That's
of
right.
the state government.
Yep.
What are the strings attached? Are you going to try to tell me what material in my
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Y'all got 2 or 3 great, I think 3 of them I can think of with Sacred Heart, great private schools.
Yeah.
And are you going to start telling them what material?
Absolutely. If you take that money, that's what I'm telling you. There's a carrot with a stick. I'm going to go so far as say this, Chris. What I'm about to say is going to be controversial. It's going to make some people mad.
They got the same pants to get glad in.
But I'm going to tell you, it's the truth.
Lay it out there.
In 2020, we had a candidate by the name of Andrew Yang that was running for Democratic presidency that was talking about where you get a income, each month for doing nothing, basically. It was just income of $1,000 a month is what he started talking about, giving each and everybody this basic living income.
Being a handout from the government, you becoming dependent. You becoming a dependent of the government.
So they called it basic living income is what they were calling it. And it was to be given to out.
Oh, that's one of them BLIs.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah. Yeah.
You know where I'm going.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So anyway, you have a lot of people that don't want to work. You have a lot of people that think that your steak that you buy at Walmart, or even if you go to a restaurant, that it just magically appears. They don't understand the work that is involved to get that piece of meat or that vegetable or any of your food to your plate. They're thinking, well, yeah, I'll just have that money, free money handout. Yeah, gimme. Okay? So Benjamin Franklin was a smart man, and Benjamin Franklin said, be very scared of a government that can give you everything, because they can also take everything. And so here's where I'm going with this, Chris.
Wasn't he about 81 years old when he said that?
Yeah, but here's where I'm going with this, Chris. To me, this is just my opinion, the school choice vouchers and getting this $7,000 a year paramounts to basic income. Okay, you have, let's say you have 4 children. That's $28,000 a year.
For those 4 children.
For those 4 children. Yeah, I guess there'd be a lot of people at that point wanting to homeschool, wouldn't there? And wouldn't mind teaching whatever the government says you have to teach them. I'm going to tell you, I'm getting my girls ready at 13 years old to take the ACT test.
Wow.
Where most kids are going to take it when they're 17. Yeah, 17 and, junior in high school.
So they're going to be 3 years in advance.
Oh, no. I'm going to have them take it this year. They're going to be at seventh graders.
They're going to be 3 years ahead of
3 or
people.
4. Yes, 3 or 4 years.
Great.
So
you looked at it from the other angle that I was mentioning,
Yeah, I'm just telling you that I see these things, and to me, my opinion here, with what has happened with what the federal government has done, Chris, with education. And when I say this, please understand me. I'm not even getting on the state of Tennessee, and I darn sure I'm not getting on Lawrence County and our school board or Michael Atkins, our superintendent, who I think the world of. Okay, I'm just going to tell you, I am a Michael Atkins fan. Period. End of story. That is a good man that I am glad is leading our school system. But, and here's the but, that carrot on the stick, there are things that have got to be taught that I fundamentally disagree with because I look at everything on a biblical nature. Okay? So if you cannot argue with me biblically, we can't argue. Because whatever you say in the world is not going to register to me. I'm not even going to listen to it. You have to come at me biblically. And when I look at this and I see these school choices coming out, I'm not for it. I'm not against it. Everybody has to come to their own salvation through fear and trembling. I'm just telling you, I will not participate. Period. End of story.
Don't ask.
Yeah. I'm not interested in it. And I know there's people, this money would make a difference. I understand that. And that's what I'm saying. You have to come to your salvation through fear and trembling. Is this a salvation issue? For you, it might not be, but for your children, it could be.
Oh, it is. It's especially if they're telling you what instructional material you're going to teach your children, and that's what they're going to be tested on.
That is exactly it, and that's the way I look at it.
See, that's another role of the government, just like they did with the churches with the 501c3s coming in the back door.
Yeah.
This is a back door entry, and ain't nothing good. It comes out the back door sometimes.
Right.
If you catch my drift.
I catch your drift totally because and it's a shame. And like I said, I guess I'm trans on this. For me, I'm not going to do it. If you do it and you want to participate, I understand. I understand how hard it is. If anybody understands how hard it is, I just feel blessed by God to have given me a godly wife who is educated further than anything I could have ever accomplished, with my own education. So.
Well, guess what? We're down to our last minute.
Yeah.
Fastest hour that ever goes by, it get on the radio.
I know. I got these little notes. We didn't even get half to our notes.
Well, we got Friday.
I know we do, but we got 2 minutes. What do you think about Mark Green not resigning? Unresigning, I should say.
I think President Trump had a talk with Mark Green. I honestly do. I haven't talked to Mark, but that's my humble opinion. And, we don't need to lose a seat to a Democrat in Washington. We cannot afford. And, Mark's done a great job. Mark and I hadn't always agreed, and I'm for it, but I guarantee you he's still running for governor in 2026.
Well, and I will tell you this, and I've told this to Paige Wally, I've told it to Kip Capley, I've told it to just about any of our representatives. If you will stand for our Constitution, our constitutional rights, we can agree to disagree on some issues.
That's true.
And we can still be friends and we can still be civil.
Here we are. We got 10 seconds, brother.
Let me take you out. It's been a pleasure. Let me take it out. People, vote. Go vote.
Tomorrow.
If you don't vote, it's on you. I'm just going to tell you.
God bless.
God bless. See everybody tomorrow, by the way. I'll be on air tomorrow talking about our results for voting. So you'll have me in here spouting off what's happening. So God bless. See everybody tomorrow.
Rich Eisen Show studio in Los Angeles.